You know what my problem is? I never ever ever know when it's time to leave. Jobs, friendships, relationships, both romantic and non-romantic relationships. Just every aspect of my life. I stay longer than I should in rooms that my soul has already long checked out from. And it's not because I don't notice these things. I always notice. Sometimes I stay because I hope things will change. I tell myself maybe if I just, give it one more try, one more conversation, one more new strategy, maybe things will be different. Other times I stay because comfort feels safer for me than, just plunging into the unknown. Sometimes I stay because I'm just very afraid of, being the bad guy. I'm afraid of, hurting somebody. I'm afraid of being the reason that someone's life falls apart. Then other times I feel like I stay because I've tied my identity to, that job, that person, that role, that environment so much that, just withdrawing or just leaving becomes almost impossible for me. A whole lot of times I'm asking the universe, I'm asking God to, give me a sign, show me a sign. And then there are banners everywhere, there are signs everywhere, but I still do not leave. I still stay. When you start to, shrink yourself, when you notice that you're shrinking, just to, make people in that environment, just to make the bosses in that job, just to make that partner feel comfortable, then that's a red flag. When you start to silence yourself, start being afraid to express yourself, you start walking on eggshells around this particular situation or this particular person, but yet you still stay. And sometimes you even start convincing yourself that maybe the job is not that bad. Maybe this house I'm staying is not that bad. Maybe the environment is not that bad. Maybe the relationship is not that bad. When you start to, when you start to find yourself in a situation where you have to be convincing yourself that maybe that situation is not that bad, that is also a sign. I always see the signs, but I still stay. Another reason, another problem I have, another reason why I feel like I have a problem with knowing when to leave is because I see myself as a loyal person, as a very loyal person. I take loyalty very seriously. Most times when people have long even checked out from being loyal to me, I'll still be there telling myself loyalty is a virtue. The patience will pay off. That if I just, stay a little bit longer, just hold it a little bit more together, the face will pass and things will change. But guess what? Loyalty and the patience, they always never pay off. The phases don't pass. Things do not change. In fact, things get worse. And I realized that, staying when you should have left somewhere or someone has a cost. Like it costs you so much. It costs you your peace. It costs you your self-respect. It costs you the type of future you could have built if you had just, set yourself free from that situation that you just kept holding on to and hoping things would get better. And the worst part, overstaying when you should have left makes you forget who you are. You start shrinking, you start blending in, you start losing your identity, and overstaying your welcome, not knowing when to leave, teaches people how to treat you badly. Like you are literally telling them that, oh, I can soak up all the abuse. I'm fine with being mistreated. I'm fine with the breadcrumbs. I'm fine with the bare minimum. And the longer you stay somewhere, the harder it gets to walk away because you would have involved yourself in so many things that you will not be able to just walk away from how much of yourself you've given to that situation. So yeah, my problem is I never know when it's time to leave, but I'm learning that not every goodbye is the end of something, that sometimes it could be the beginning of something beautiful, something that your soul has been craving. And maybe your problem is also the same as mine. Maybe you've been sitting in rooms that you've long outgrown. Maybe you've been holding on to something, to situations long after your spirit has let that thing or that situation go. So if that's you, maybe it's time for you to ask yourself the question that I'm finally learning to even ask myself, which is what would happen if you just left? What's the worst that would happen? Because sometimes the door you're scared to, walk out from is the same door that is going to lead to your freedom. Hmm. Not knowing when to leave has cost me so many things that, could have been avoided. Not knowing when to leave has put me in situations that, I look back and I'm like, damn, I could have just left. And so if you're like me, sitting somewhere that deep down you know you don't belong, this is your wake up call. You don't have to wait until they kick you out or you get kicked out of that place that's your body and your soul is already over. You don't have to wait to get kicked out of the place or of the situation. You can choose to walk away because maybe the problem isn't really the fact that we don't know when to leave. Maybe the problem is the fact that we're too scared to trust that what is ahead is way better than what we're leaving behind. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Stay jiggy.